Oh, sorry. You would think I would know by now.
Hi.
Welcome to Hammersmith and Fulham's annual council meeting, including our guests in the audience and those watching on YouTube. I'm Councillor Patricia Quigley, the Mayor of the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham, and I will be chairing the first part of tonight's meeting. To make the meeting more accessible, we will be supported by the British Sign Language interpreters. The meeting is being live streamed to YouTube, and by participating, you are consenting to being recorded. I once again welcome our guests in the audience to this meeting. This is the most important civic meeting of the council. To ensure that the meeting runs smoothly, no heckling is allowed, nor any other type of interruption will be tolerated when people are speaking. This is a personal request, as I am hard of hearing and need good order to manage the meeting effectively. I would also like to remind members that it is customary to stand when speaking if you are able to, so you can be clearly seen and heard. If you are watching at home and would like to follow along with the agenda, there is a link on the description on YouTube. If the fire alarm sounds, please leave via the signposted exits. The meeting will be taken as adjourned until it can safely resume business. Item 1, election of the mayor. I'd like to invite formal nomination for the office of the mayor for the 2025-26 municipal year. Councillor Smith, Matt.
I nominate Councillor Sharon Holder.
Where is he? Sorry, oh, sorry. Who's seconding?
I second it.
Are there any other nominations? As Councillor Sharon Holder is unopposed, it is agreed that she shall be a duly elected Mayor of the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham for the 2025-26 municipal year. Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you. Councillor Holder, it is with great pleasure that I formally announce that you have been elected Mayor for the 25-26 municipal year, and I offer you the congratulations both of the council and the citizens of the borough. I invite you to make the statutory declaration of acceptance of office as required by the Local Elections Declaration of Acceptance of Office Order 2001.
I, Councillor Sharon Holder, having been elected the office of Mayor of the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham, declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability. I undertake to observe the code as to the conduct which is expected of members of the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much for this great honour. My first official act is to suspend the meeting for a few minutes while I put on the mayor's robes. Thank you. down on. Apologies. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. The new Mayor will now say a few words addressing the council on her election.
Thank you very much for this great honour, which in fact is more than most people attending tonight or on YouTube can ever imagine. Because as well as being appointed mayor, this borough has truly defined who I am. Born of British West Indian parents from Grenada, part of the formidable Windrush generation that came to the borough in 1963, I was born in 1965. The same year as the borough was formed from the merger of the metropolitan boroughs of Fulham and Hammersmith. My mum, 88 years old, is here tonight to witness the honour, along with my husband, who I met in Fulham in 1981, our children, extended British-born multicultural family, and dearest friends whom I grew up with in Fulham, all of which have supported me throughout my life, and I would like to publicly thank them all. As this borough has clearly defined me in sitting before the borough tonight in the post of mayor, I pledge to promote the borough as an amazing place to grow up, to listen and to serve this community, and act as a role model for unity in all that I do on your behalf. Again, thank you for this great honour. I wish to inform the council that I have appointed Nubian Life based in White City, Fulham Good Neighbours and the Fulham Pearly Kings and Queens as my charities for the mayoral year. I also wish to inform the council that I have appointed my husband Jim Shoesmith to act as my consort during my mayoral year. I ask my consort to come forward. My consort has kindly agreed to help me hand out the badges and gifts during the meeting. Chief Exec has an announcement to make.
Thank you, Mayor. Sincere apologies from the past Mayor, who's unwell and can't now be with us. But we're going to proceed with the speeches to honour the past Mayor as we would have if she was able to be here. Thank you.
I now call upon Councillor Stephen Cowan to move the presentation of the past Mayor's badge.
Formally moved.
I formally said, oh, sorry, my fault, I'm getting wrong. I call upon Councillor Stephen Cowan, Jose Alfonso, Nicole Trehe and Stala Antonidis to speak.
Thank you very much, and it is gives me great pleasure to address you as Mayor. Before I get into the tribute to Councillor Patricia Quigley, I think we should recognise that in any municipal year, the making of a mayor is one of the most important things that we assemble to do. All across the United Kingdom, in our great country, there are ceremonies like this taking place. In other areas, they are known as annual mayor-making ceremonies, but in ours, we call it the AGM. somewhat less prosaic, I know, but shouldn't take away from a ceremony that recognises the importance of people. To put that in context, I noticed that my friend, Councillor Paul de Moldenberg in Westminster, was made mayor just 2 days ago after 50 years of service. That is the type of example that you see all around the United Kingdom. In recognising people who give extraordinary levels of care, not for themselves, not for the position, but for people we came into politics to serve. And I know while we have different political views, that everybody who ends up elected as a representative bears that honour of serving the public, irrespective of political party, extremely highly. So I will thank you, Madam Mayor, as having had one of the toughest briefs in politics in the public realm, but has dealt with it beautifully and carefully, always listening to the residents. And I respect you for having underdone that, and now wish you well in your position as the mayor. Patricia Quigley, the outgoing mayor, did an exemplary work. She carried out 25 civic ceremonies, and she brought an order to the council chamber that had not always been there in previous periods. I think all of us should look to maintain that as a tribute to Patricia. Patricia attended over 146 events, which is an extraordinary level of work over the 2 years. And again, that is indicative of the fact that Patricia Quigley really cared about this role as the borough mayor and put herself into it with grace and with skill. She chaired 12 council meetings and made her charities Action on Disability in the first term, the Fulham Reach Boat Club, the second, the Solidarity Sports, H&F Food Bank, and then in the second term, because Patricia was given 2 terms as mayor, she gave her charities as Dad's House and Dance West, where she became known as the dancing mayor, often seen in videos on Instagram for doing precisely that. It is not easy being a public representative, but Patricia, by championing co-production and championing the rights of people to have accessible services, often championing the most voiceless people in our community, represented not just a skilled mayor, but also somebody who sent a message of where this administration and this borough stands in furthering the civil rights of disabled peoples everywhere. I'm extremely grateful that Patricia served 2 years as the mayor and wish her well in the forthcoming year. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, may I begin by congratulating you on your new role. You shall be missed at public realm. We've had our dealings, but they have been good, and I welcome you to a new role. Now, I'd like to thank Councillor Quigley for her 2 years as mayor of this borough. She served with distinction, and she was an exemplary example of what a mayor should be. Her commitment to charity work, particularly regarding Action on Disability and many others, has been a delight to watch. Now, I must admit, I'm thankful to Patricia. I suspect she has saved me a lot of heckling over the last 2 years, and for that I will be grateful, although I suspect heckling might be back on the menu now.
No.
I'd like to finish by saying Councillor Quigley has a legacy she can be proud of. She served this borough with distinction, and on behalf of the entire opposition, we thank her for her excellent 2 years. Thank you.
Councillor Trahey.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you and congratulations to you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. It's a real privilege to say a few words of thanks to someone who has given so much to our borough and to many of us personally with extraordinary heart and dedication. The Mayor, the previous Mayor, Councillor Patricia Quigley. Over the past 2 years, Patricia has brought such warmth strength and energy to her time as mayor. She's turned up with a sense of purpose that's been deeply felt across Hammersmith and Fulham. Compassionate, capable, joyful and deeply committed, Patricia has shown us what it means to truly throw yourself into public service. She hasn't just performed the role, she's lived it. In the council chamber, her chairing has been nothing short of masterful. She brought a style of leadership that has been unmistakably hers. She's kept debates on track and rowdy councillors in check, and some might say scolded. Democracy has never felt so well behaved. Outside the chamber, she's been a phenomenal presence across the borough, representing us with energy and pride. Vitally, Patricia has been a powerful, pioneering, positive representative of people with disabilities in public life. Honestly, if there were a video game called Mayor Quigley, she'd be ninja kicking down barriers on so many levels, with a big smile, scarlet heels, sometimes in a wheelchair, always perfect timing. And it wouldn't be fiction because that's what she's done in real life. She's shown so many others what's possible. She's proved that you do not have to change who you are to rise to the position of mayor, and that in fact being exactly who you are is what makes for the best kind of example. She's represented our borough with joy, enthusiasm and deep care. Whether it was opening events, visiting community groups, posing in a Royal Guards bearskin at Buckingham Palace, or supporting local causes, you can feel the commitment in everything she's done. Her social media has been a joy, enthusiastic, uplifting and full of fun. Few can make Instagram and civic duty feel like a natural pairing, but Patricia managed it. And in doing so, she brought politics a little closer to the people, especially to young people. And of course, just a couple of weeks ago, she sang in public for the very first time. And what did she choose? Dancing Queen by ABBA at a karaoke organised by a drag queen at the Sands End Arts and Community Centre. That is so Patricia. It was bold, it was brave, and honestly, it was beautiful. And with almost 1 million views on Instagram, Patricia is probably the first mayor in the country to have gone viral for all the right reasons. It's also said something essential about her. She shows up. Even when it's outside her comfort zone, she gives it everything. It captures something so important that stepping forward and trying something new is part of how we grow. Patricia has reminded us all to be a little braver. And she's shown us that leadership isn't about standing up above anyone, it's about standing with them. All of this is why so many people, especially young people, have felt comfortable speaking to her, asking questions and getting involved. If I may speak personally for a minute, Patricia has been an incredible mentor and support to me. She's helped me find confidence in my voice and taught me a lot about how to hold space with grace. She's believed in me and I'll always be grateful for that. Patricia, we wish you huge success in the future in everything you go on to do. We are very proud of you and forever grateful. Thank you for your service and thank you for showing us this borough that civic life doesn't have to be stuffy or distant. It can be real, warm, and just a little bit fabulous. Thank you.
Councillor Antonides.
Congratulations, Mayor Holder. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Patricia, our guests and council members. I'm honoured to be speaking on behalf of all our 183,200 residents of our borough to thank our outgoing Mayor, Patricia Quigley, our 51st Mayor of Hammersmith and Fulham since 1965, for her tireless service. Patricia, you have shown us in your I'm going to address it as Patricia because that's how it's written here, service as a female mayor with a disability that disability should have no boundaries. You're an inspiration and a role model to all, showing the depths and goals and heights that can be achieved with supporting facilities in place. You stand for inclusivity, community, and equity, values that are at the core of who you are. Your choice of charities clearly reflects your deep commitment to these principles. Advocating for inclusivity, your charity Dad's House, a charity that supports single dads and their families, supporting them with practicalities of raising children alone, stands for this. In keeping with your commitment to community and inclusivity and recognising the importance of addressing loneliness, it is especially fitting that you chose Dance West as one of your charities. It is no secret that you are also AKA the Dancing Queen and have been known to strut your funky good stuff on the catwalk at the London Fashion Week and other various dance floors in town. Dance West engage people of all ages and abilities in high quality dance activities. It improves mental health, physical health and well-being of people through dance, believing that dance enriches lives and is the catalyst for positive change in our community. It provides young people with disabilities a place to be and tackle physical inactivity among young children and young people. Other charities that you support are Action on Disability, Fulham Reach Boat Club that promotes rowing for all abilities, where you presented the medals for the school's boat race and you are supportive of the food bank too. You have shown your love for children, letting your fun and spirited side shine through while supporting them. You've even escorted students from Ghana around the BBC studios, always allowing them the joy of holding your mayoral chain. The honour of the badge in this office is of utmost importance to you. You took efficient and fair of our council meetings, and that has been impeccable, and fair to say, has kept us all on our toes. Some would go as far as saying a training exercise in the art of speech timing, much enlivened with the use of what you term your gabble, keeping all in tow while maintaining fairness and impartiality. By introducing British Sign Language to the Chamber, and as someone who is hard of hearing yourself, you have provided a very welcome and necessary aid. Not all disabilities are visible, and you supported community events such as Orlando Richardson's exhibition at our very own Sands End Community Centre, marking Autism Awareness Month in April. All this is a testament to your commitment while also supporting your residents in your work as a councillor too. Before becoming a councillor, you were a founding member of the Disabled People's Commission, and together with the other 9 Hammersmith and Fulham disabled residents, wrote the groundbreaking report, Nothing About Disabled People Without Disabled People, which formed the blueprint for the council's co-production policy. It's accepting of 8 recommendations for independent living. And born from the policy, we are hugely excited for the imminent opening of our fully accessible, all-inclusive civic campus building, the design of which has benefited directly from the experience and wisdom of the borough's independent disabled residents right from the outset. Patricia, speaking on behalf of all councillors here this evening, our hardworking officers and all our valued residents, we are all so proud and grateful for your service. A heartfelt thank you again from all of us here. Thank you for your inspiration to our community, young and old, as the 51st Mayor of Hammersmith and Fulham, a testament that disability need not be and should not be a barrier to achieving our aspirations. Thank you again. Keep on dancing, keep on singing, and keep on inspiring. Thank you.
Are there any other speakers? Thank you. Sorry, I now call upon Councillor Stephen Cowan to give a vote of thanks to the past consort.
Well, I'm extremely grateful to Councillor Shohope-Verdier for his diligent and hard work, not just now as a member of our cabinet, not just as a councillor, but actually as a consort to the mayor, attending many of the events and speaking to many different people. I think there is no better way of learning about the borough than to be mayor. You meet people from every single walk of life, and it enriches you as you listen to their experiences and learn of their challenges and hopes. Councillor, you did us very proud in working as the mayor's consort, and I do, particularly for selfish reasons, wish you well in your current position.
I invite I invite Councillor Florian Verdier to please come forward. Okay. I wish to inform the councils that I have appointed Councillor Darryl Brown to be my deputy mayor for the 25-26 municipal year. And she has appointed Mr. Benito Brown to act as her deputy mayor's consort. I invite Councillor Darryl Brown to come forward to receive a gift of appreciation for all her hard work during the past year. That ends the ceremonial business. I now move to the business part of the meeting. Okay. 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 It doesn't say. Yes. Apologies. Sorry. Item number 2. Apologies for absence.
Thank you, Mayor. Apologies for absence have been received from Councillors Trey Campbell-Smith, Alex Carmel, Bora Kwan, David Morton, Lucy Richardson, and Anne Rosenberg. And sorry, Councillor Melton as well. Thank you. Ross Melton.
Okay. Declarations of interest. Are there any declarations of interest? No, there are none. Moving now to item number 4. Are the minutes of the meeting held on the 26th of February agreed as an accurate record? Item number 5, Mayor and Chief Executive's announcement. Earlier this month, Andrew Dismore resigned as a councillor of Fulham Town Ward. On behalf of the council, I'd like to thank him for his hard work over the years serving his local community. I've been informed Councillor Cowan and Alfonso would like to say a few words.
Yes, well, as we've said, being a councillor is a huge honour, not because I think in the eyes of most people, but actually it's an honour because if you aspire to perform civic service and to enrich your borough, then this is the forum to do it in, and this is the role to do it. So anybody who takes on that role deserves our respect. And former councillor Dismore certainly took the role on. and served for 3 solid years, and before stepping down quite recently. So I'd like to thank him for his 3 years and wish him well in his personal life, and I hope to see him again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Last week, my friend and colleague, Councillor Andrew Dinsmore, not to be confused with Dismore, the MP, formally announced, I believe he was a Labour MP actually, formally announced he would be standing down. So this was a tough decision, but having recently become a father, Andrew and his wife Sarah decided to move out of London to be closer to family support. Andrew felt that due to the move, he was unable to perform his duties as a councillor to the standards residents deserve. Andrew can be proud of his record on the council, being a consistent voice advocating for the safety of those in our borough, having served as deputy leader for 3 years and being the parliamentary candidate during the general election for Hammersmith and Chiswick. I'd like to thank Andrew for his service to our borough, our party, and I wish him all the best for the future. I'm delighted to announce that my good friend Liam Downer-Sanderson has been selected to be the by-election candidate for his replacement. Me and the team will be out supporting him. Thank you very much.
Item number 6, committee reports. 6.1, party appointments for the 2025-26 municipal year. Is the report on the appointments made by the party groups on the council for 25 noted? Item 6.2, review of the constitution. I call upon the leader, Councillor Cowan, to move the report and recommendations.
Formally moved.
Are there any speakers on this report? Councillor Pascal Tolbert?
Thank you very much, Mayor. I'll start by congratulating you on the election, and I'm very much looking forward to serving under your mayorship. Mayor, on this side of the chamber, we have no intention of opposition for its own sake. The contents of this paper are by and large very sensible, and I thank officers for their work in preparing it. We'll be agreeing to note this paper. I do have a flag 1 issue, the creation of a lead member for communications. We're told that this post holder will work directly to a cabinet member and support the development of council communications to residents that are clear, engaging and inclusive. It is, of course, very important that council communications are clear, engaging and inclusive. My experience, which I suspect will be shared by some in this room, is the council is actually really good at telling good news stories, less good perhaps when the picture is mixed, and when for whatever reason things aren't going well, communications to residents often range from overly defensive to sadly non-existent. So it is absolutely important that we get that function right, and our residents deserve it. But it is also important, I think, that that function is officer rather than politically led. And there is already, I note, a significant communications team at officer level. And I worry that this development might lead to the blurring of the line between effective communications and spin, and that you risk creating a tension when you essentially have political and potentially politicized oversight of what should be a core operational function. What we do want, and what we will absolutely support, is holding the council to the highest of standards in the way it communicates with residents. But the last thing that our residents need or want is any sort of a minister for propaganda, and we urge the administration not to go down this route. Thank you very much, and I wish the lead member well.
Are there any other speakers on this report? Oh. Anna Schmid, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you to the council for, on his appointment as the new deputy leader. It's great to see new people become councillors and go into leadership positions, but I think sometimes if we lose that institutional memory, we jump to conclusions that might not be informed by what's come before them. I see that former Councillor Loveday is still often with his former Conservative colleagues at election counts and other events, and we love to see him there. we wish him well. But when he was the chief whip in the Conservative administration, his title was Cabinet Member for Communications. He sat around the cabinet running communications as a cabinet member. So we find this observation peculiar that you'd have an issue with a lead member, which is a much higher level role, who can feed back to the council if, as you say, sometimes communications aren't hitting the target or are missing points that residents want to hear about. It's great to have a lead member to occasionally feed back that stuff. But if they're concerned about political control of communications, I find that peculiar, considering they had a cabinet member for communications who also served as chief whip. Thank you, Mayor.
Are there any other speakers? Right. Is the report and its recommendations agreed? The recommendations are therefore carried. Item 6.3, appointment by the leader of the deputy leader and cabinet.
Formally moved.
Thank you. Is the report on the appointment of the deputy leader and cabinet members noted as amended? Noted. Okay. Item 6.4, allocations of seats and proportionality on committees. Is the report noted? Item 6.5, appointment of chairs and committee memberships. I call upon the leader, Councillor Cowan, to move the report and recommendations as amended.
Formally moved.
Is the report and its recommendations agreed? The recommendations are carried. Item 6.6, council appointment to local government organisations and outside bodies. I call upon the leader, Councillor Cowan, to move the report and recommendations.
Formally moved.
Is the report and its recommendations agreed? The recommendations are carried. Item 6.7, Members' Allowance Scheme Annual Review for 2025-26. I call upon the leader, Councillor Cowan, to move the report and its recommendations.
Formally moved.
Are there any speakers on this report? Thank you. Is the report and its recommendations agreed? Okay. Thank you very much. We will now need to move to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you very much. All those against? All those not voting? Thank you. Okay. The recommendations are carried. Moving on to item 6.8, appointment of independent person. I call upon the leader, Councillor Cowan, to move the report and recommendations.
Formally moved.
Is the report and its recommendations agreed? The recommendations are carried. Item 6.9, dispensation of absence. I call upon the leader, Councillor Cowan, to move the report and recommendations.
Formally moved.
Is the report and its recommendations agreed? The recommendations are carried. Item 6.10, the leader's annual report. I call upon the leader, Councillor Cowan, to give a verbal annual report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And can I start by paying tribute to Councillor Bottlebrand-Fowler, who did serve with great dignity as the Leader of the Opposition over recent years. And I know it can be combative in this chamber, and but actually I always found Councillor Bottlebank-Fowler to be a totally reasonable person and enjoyed working with her on the occasions that I did. It's not easy being a leader of an opposition. I know that. I was one for 8 years, and certainly she carried it out with a great deal of hard work, and I admire her for having done that. So thank you for your service as the leader of the opposition, and I welcome the new leader and deputy leader, Councillor Alfonso and Pascu Toubre, into their positions. I echo really what I said to Councillor Bottlebank-Fowler. It is a huge honour to lead any political group in any party, in any elected forum, in any part of the world. It is a particular honour to lead an opposition or political group in the London Borough of Hammersmith and Fulham in this great country of ours. So welcome to the position. Can I set out that these have been extremely challenging times, and I have become sick of saying those words. Someone once told me that there is a proverb that says, may you live in interesting times, and actually that is a bad thing. It's to wish someone a very interesting time is actually wishing them ill will. And these times have been too interesting since over the early part of the 21st century. We see a war in Ukraine, which directly affects Hammersmith and Fulham, with our soldiers on standby, our refugees in people's houses, and our budgets shattered by the inflation that's caused. We see at a national level the huge challenges of a reckless 14, 15 years of government, with Liz Truss's hyperinflation, Boris Johnson's uncaring approach, and indeed David Cameron's negligence that left the country out of the biggest trading bloc known in the world. As a borough, that has meant that we have faced huge challenges, not least because our budget was £184 million and now it is £120 million. As a resident told me just earlier this morning, there is no organisation on earth that would lose such a large proportion of its budget and manage to stay to provide more services, let alone keep the same services, let alone not go bankrupt. But this borough, thanks to the fantastic stewardship of my good friend, Councillor Ree, has sound finances. And because we have saved a record 138 million since we have been in office in 2014, that is by far a record. We have been able to introduce the greatest suite of crime-fighting measures in Britain. That's a CCTV more than anywhere else per square kilometre in the country, our own law enforcement team, a gangs unit, and we will shortly announce new measures to crack down on crime and make this borough safer. More affordable housing being built than anywhere else in London per square kilometre, and we are a tiny borough. And that is in part because we managed to secure large amounts of funds from property developers, and we have recycled that into crime fighting and house building. We have one of Britain's top 10 councils at tackling the climate emergency, remain the only council in England to have free adult social care, pioneered free breakfast for all school children at a time when too many teachers told us too many children sat in their classrooms with aching bellies. It has been a tough 10 years, but this administration has always set out to be firmly on the side of our residents, and we will continue to do that for years to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kennedy. I call upon Councillor Jose Alfonso to speak from the opposition.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would first like to start by paying tribute to my predecessor, Councillor Brocklebank-Fowler, for her 4 years of service as leader of the opposition. She has left the group in a far better place than it was when she took over. Since then, Councillor Brocklebank-Fowler has consistently highlighted the Labour administration's failings in office, and at the same time overseen the development of a new generation of councillors, and I am personally grateful for the support and advice she has provided me over those years. I am honoured to be taking on this important role, leading the charge in holding the administration to account when they are failing to deliver for our residents. But this does not mean opposition for opposition's sake, but rather standing up for residents across the borough when they need a voice. Madam Mayor, in that vein, it should be said that there have been some successes by this administration. The Upstream project is a positive for this borough, and I commend the leader for his work on that. However, Madam Mayor, this is not the case across the board. Here we stand 3 years into this term, but what do you notice about our surroundings? We thank Novotel for hosting us, but we are still not at the town hall. Mayor, there are councillors in this room that may serve an entire term, stand down, or be voted out without ever stepping in the town hall. The entire project is the reddest white elephant I've ever seen. Overdue, over budget, overpromised, and underdelivered. The other monument to the record of failure when it comes to major projects is Hammersmith Bridge. Now, Councillor Chevauque-Verdier will be very familiar with the Notre Dame, but when it burnt down and was rebuilt, here we are in Hammersmith and Fulham, with Hammersmith Bridge celebrating its 6th anniversary, and the Notre Dame is repaired. And it is still closed to motorised traffic, be that cars, buses, or ambulances. But that's not what the comms will have you believe. This administration thinks that it is a point of celebration that having spent almost 50 million, that the bridge can be used by cyclists. Now, Mayor, those cyclists will of course be delighted that they can now cross the river at Hammersmith. Elsewhere, they are concerned that their safety is being sacrificed at the altar of green zealotry. Introducing dangerous parklet schemes in the south of the borough, turning an A road into an obstacle course. Introducing a more dangerous cycle lane on King Street than the one it replaced. And now going along with TfL to replace a cycle lane on Holland Park roundabout in the north of the borough that has had a single accident in as many years. It will not matter where you cycle in this borough. This administration is making it less safe for you to do so. And then there is the parking charges manifesto breach. During the 2022 local elections, they promised to introduce a borough-wide free parking outside of rush hour. And 2 years into your term, you broke that. And you're even charging EVs now. But Mayor, the leader speaks of crime. Let us speak about the LETs, or as they were branded in the annual report sent out to residents, the unique 72-strong law enforcement team. But Mayor, they're not 72 strong. In fact, this administration is currently overseeing a recruitment crisis with the numbers actually in the mid-50s and some ward-based LETs being missing for well over a year now. And let us not forget the badge of shame this administration brought on us in 2021 when they were named the worst borough in the entire country for damp and mould. They would like us to forget, Madam Mayor. We won't, and I assure you, neither will the residents. Now, Madam Mayor, with a year to go to the local elections, I am excited about the opportunities to drive the opposition forward. There are many challenges ahead, but together, united, with one purpose, we will head into those 2026 local elections with a positive vision for Hammersmith and Fulham and offer the prospects of an administration that takes its residents seriously and will deliver for the people of Hammersmith and Fulham. Thank you.
Thank you both. Okay. Moving on now to item 6.11, redevelopment of Avonmore Primary School and building new homes. Please note that this item includes an appendage which contains exempt information. Any discussion of the contents of the exempt appendage requires council to pass a resolution excluding members of the public and press from the proceedings for the discussion. I call upon the leader, Councillor Cowan, to move the report and recommendations.
Formally moved.
Are there any speakers on this report? Thank you. Councillor Afzal Khan.
Madam Mayor, first of all, congratulations on your appointment. I look forward to working under your mayorship.
And I also like to thank Councillor Quigley for all her work, positivity, and her kind nature. Her courage and work ethic is truly admirable. Madam Mayor, as a councillor, a local resident, a concerned parent, a teacher, and someone who holds an unwavering commitment to the future of our children's education, let me help you look deeper than the new school, new home slogan and interrogate the detail with care, empathy, and rigour. Yes, Avonmore Primary School is in urgent need of redevelopment, and I wholeheartedly support the principle of rebuilding Avonmore into a modern, inclusive, and sustainable school. But I must express strong opposition to the way in which it is being delivered. This proposal binds a vital school redevelopment to a speculative and complex housing development. And in doing so, it puts our children's education in the backseat of a high-risk vehicle. The school community was decanted in April, an already disruptive move that has brought longer journeys, upheaval in routines, and strain on working families. We are now being asked to approve capital funding for a project where the housing is not expected to be completed until December 2027, meaning the disruption from construction, dust, noise, traffic will linger long after pupils return to the new school site in mid-2027. Let me be clear. This is not merely about inconvenience. It is about educational continuity, about well-being, and about the message we send to families. That their children's learning must wait while market forces, planning delays, and interest rate fluctuations play out. Now let's look at the financial risks. We've been warned that if this project is delayed, the council could that it has set aside from right to buy sales and might have to pay on top of that. Additionally, the Department for Education has not yet granted permission for the disposal of school land, permission that should have been sought in 2019. This is not a solid foundation. This is a house of cards built on financial assumptions and hopeful forecasts. Madam Mayor, now let's look at housing. Even though building 91 new homes, half of them affordable, is important, it shouldn't put don't go as planned within the limited time frame, it could leave the school project financially exposed. Ultimately, residents will shoulder the burden. Prolonged disruption, less green space, and added pressure on local infrastructure and services. This isn't about ticking boxes. New school and new homes. We need to ask, are we minimizing disruption? Are we protecting public money? And are we delivering real benefits? Or just dressing up compromises? Madam Mayor, we can't ignore the wider picture. While this Labour administration ties our children's education to a risky housing scheme, the Labour government is pulling the rug out from under our institutions by cutting the very support schools rely on, slashing the local needs fund, the trust capacity fund, and handing down unfunded pay rises that schools are expected to absorb by cutting down provision. Madam Mayor, this budget asks us to gamble with our children's education.
Thank you very much.
Let's
Lovely.
not.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Do we have any other speakers? All right, I will. Councillor Ume?
Thank you, Mayor, and congratulations. Look, quite frankly, I'm really proud to speak in support of a development that embodies so much of what we believe in as a borough: fairness, sustainability, opportunity, and above all, social homes. As you can imagine, the single biggest issue that I hear from residents is about housing. There are families across Hammersmith and Fulham that are struggling. Too many living in flats in temporary accommodation or moving away because they simply cannot afford to stay. We're losing key workers, young people, and families that give this borough its heart. Thousands of people are on our housing waiting list, and there are households waiting for a solid place to call home. This development responds directly to that need, delivering 91 new homes, half of which are affordable, including 27 for social rent and 18 for shared ownership. That's 45 homes where families will be able to put down roots, raise their children, and thrive. 10% of the homes will be wheelchair accessible, and further work is actually underway to explore how the affordable provision can be maximised even further. The current school was not fit for purpose, with poor insulation, a leaky roof, and other factors. And so this development will help fund the much-needed state-of-the-art primary school, delivering essential education services for those who need it, so they can have the best start in life. We know the data and we know the stories. Behind every housing statistic, there are real people. A child that may be growing up in a cramped flat, a young family that may be living in temporary accommodation for years, or a key worker that's commuting hours because they cannot afford to live in the borough that they serve. These are our neighbours, our friends, residents, and they deserve better. Family homes, as we know, are the foundation of stability, giving children the security to learn, parents the peace of mind to work, and communities the strength to grow together. So let's take a closer look at the homes themselves. I mean, they're going to be built to really high environmental standards, powered by air source heat pumps and solar panels, so there'll be lower energy bills and emissions. There's improved biodiversity, green roofs, and excellent accessibility. There'll be green space, modern layouts, and the homes will offer the life that every resident deserves. The project itself is a result of community collaboration. School governors, teachers, pupils, parents, local residents, and REBA design experts, community and accessibility groups. I mean, the list is endless. All have been listened to, and plans have been revised to shape the scheme so that it genuinely reflects what our community wants and needs. That process has made this project stronger, better design with better sustainability and better outcomes. And finally, quite frankly, if we say no to schemes like this, we're saying yes to the status quo, to overcrowding, to long waiting lists, to families being pushed out of the communities that they love. It's a carefully considered plan, financially viable, supported by strong partnerships and extensive consultation. It's designed to benefit generations to come. So I ask full council today to support this investment, not just in housing, not just in a school, but in a shared future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Councillor Sanderson, would you like to speak?
Thank you so much, Mayor, and congratulations on your appointment. We very much look forward to having you as Mayor for this term. Mayor, we are so proud of our offer for children and young people in this borough. 100% of our schools are good or outstanding, and that ambition is matched by everyone that we work with across the council. We could not do more, really, to try and make sure our children have a better start in life. But what we will not do is take lessons from the party opposite on what we should be doing when it comes to our school estates for affordable housing from a party who did not build a single piece of social housing in their time in office. We will not take lessons from the party opposite, who had as a day one priority when getting in 2010 in government to shut down the Building Schools Fund, leading schools falling down and in terrible states all across this country, and leaving children learning in completely unfit conditions. And we will not take lessons from the party who plunged millions of children into poverty during the austerity period, meaning that their life chances were completely shattered and that we are having to pick up all the wrath for both in local authority and across the third sector. Children deserve palaces to learn, and that is what this scheme does. Families deserve safe, comfortable, affordable housing, and that is what this scheme delivers. We are proud of this scheme. I am looking forward to it going through because it will deliver on both those counts, and I cannot believe that you have dared to come here and criticise it when it delivers such essential services for our families and children and young people here.
Thank you very much indeed. Is the report and its recommendations agreed?
No.
Embarrassing.
We'll have to move to the vote. Okay. All those in favour? Okay, thank you. All those against? Anyone? Sorry, thank you. Anyone not voting? Thank you very much indeed. Okay. The recommendations are carried. Item number 7, reports to note. 7.1, annual report of the Policy and Oversight Board and the Policy and Accountability Committees for 2024-25. I call upon Councillor Lisa Homan to speak.
I formally move, Chair.
Thank you very much. Are there any other speakers on this report? Oh, you do?
I'm happy to speak. I will speak. Shall I speak?
Well, I
Would
did
you like
call
me
upon you. I did call upon you to speak.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Congratulations to your post. I know that you'll be an excellent advocate for our borough over the coming year, for both our residents and for the council. And I hope you have an enjoyable year, Mayor. I will be brief. I would firstly like to thank all of the chairs of the PACs for the work that they have done over the past year, highlighting issues to help shape the way that we do things here in Hammersmith and Fulham, for scrutinising the work of the council and the decisions that we have made. I'll come to a few specifics in a minute, but I would like to make the point that different councils have very different arrangements in how they do scrutiny. Here in Hammersmith and Fulham, we combine it with developing policies and ideas and how we improve our services. And it has become very clear to me over the last 2 years, having sat on the steering group for the London Scrutiny Network, that we actually have one of the most comprehensive systems here in this borough in place, with the most opportunities to delve into areas of interest, to involve local people, residents, third sector groups, businesses and other stakeholders. As you can see from the report, at Policy and Overview Board, we have focused on a number of issues, overarching strategic issues over the last year. I'm not going to speak about them all, but probably the most significant is the area of work that has been going on in the gradual adoption of AI. AI presents us with both opportunities and threats. If we don't embrace it, we will be left behind. And as we do, we need to make sure that we protect the council and our residents from the risks of more services and more information being automated online. Closely interlinked to this, we have looked at residents' experience, digital inclusion, co-production and the corporate budget. Important issues that my colleagues have considered include the outcomes for children and young people with special educational needs and disabilities at the Children and Education Pack. SEND, as we know, is an issue for councils which are currently struggling with. The Climate Change and Equality Pack looked at the Green Investment Bond, a great initiative to fund green projects, and flooding, the latter being a serious concern to many residents. The Health and Social Care Pack were presented with a report on disabled people's experiences in the NHS, a report presented by Action on Disability. And amongst other things, they looked at older people's care homes in the borough. The Housing and Homelessness Pack looked at rough sleeping, hidden homelessness and private rented sector, all critical issues in relation to the lack of affordable homes in the borough and nationally. Policing in the borough, the council's CCTV strategy and the work of the council's gangs unit were considered at the Social Inclusion and Community Safety Pack. Again, all critical issues for the residents of our borough. And last but not least, at the Economy, Arts, Sports and Public Realm Pack delved into upstream London, the council's industrial strategy, like no other council in this country has, looked at the local plan and satisfaction with our parks. This is not an exhaustive list, just some pertinent issues that I have chosen to highlight. More information is in the report before you this evening, and full reports are available online. And you can, of course, also watch the full committee proceedings on YouTube, should you wish to do so. Thank you again to all of the PAC chairs, to all the councillors who've contributed to the work of the committees, and to all the residents and other stakers who've been involved over the last year. I recommend this report to you. Thank you very much.
Is the report noted? Thank you very much. Item 7.2, Special Urgency Decisions Monitoring Report. Is the Special Urgency Decisions Monitoring Report noted? Thank you. Item 7.3, Petitions Monitoring Report 2024-25. Is the Petitions Monitoring Report noted? Thank you. That is the end of the first meeting. We will now take a 5-minute break while the recipients of the Freedom of the Borough and their guests settle down for the special meeting. Thank you very much indeed.